And now, time for weekly show with a passionate India lover, chairman of ITV Gold and Parikh Worldwide Media. Get ready for loving sharing from physician, philanthropist, publisher, and India advocate in this week with Padma Shri, Dr. Sudhir Parikh. Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and today we begin this week's show with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh with a very special smile, the smile that connects us to our childhood days. And in this series which we have started talking about the life of Dr. Parikh, we'll go back to his memories, and I thank him for having accepted this request to dive deep into his memory lane for insight and inspiration for us. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
So now you were talking about your school days, and you mentioned about the leadership aptitude which you demonstrated at age 7 or 8, something like that. So talk to me about your other memories of school friends and any teacher or someone who you looked up to from this point of view.
Well, I mean, since my father was Celtex officer, so he used to get transferred every 3 years. So I had I would say, a great opportunity to learn at that age, between age 7 and 13. I learned in the three different languages, 3 different medium. So it is not easy.
What medium?
So when I was young, of course I started with the Gujarati because we were in the Gujarat. Then we went to Jalgaon, Maharashtra. My father got transferred in the Jalgaon. So then there was no Gujarati school or no English school. Jalgaon was a very small village. I mean, not village, but it's a small town. So completely in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, I learned everything in Marathi. So Marathi becomes my medium of education. So it's not that easy at that
Absolutely.
age to convert from overnight to Gujarati to Marathi. And then again I went to Mumbai, then it became English. So, but then I went to Gujarat when I was in the college. Again that time in Gujarat, all this Gujarati was there in science college. So in a way, if I look back, it's a great experience. And that made me kind of all-rounder. So I can handle anything and everything, all cultures, with the great affection and the ability to accept that.
That's wonderful. And if we try to get towards your memory of being in Jalgaon for some time, because very few people know that you have also known Marathi. Everybody looks at you, and there is a continuous Gujarati flavor that is visible from you. So, can you speak Marathi even now?
Yeah, I can speak Marathi even now, and I can understand Marathi completely. And I still go and watch Marathi drama. I do enjoy that because Marathi drama. Even I just saw last year Marathi film where Madhuri Dixit acted. And it was a great story. So I love to watch Marathi drama, Marathi film, even Marathi music. I mean that Kisori Amolkar was my favorite vocal singer. So I always enjoyed the Marathi literature, and it's very rich and very deep and very fascinating.
Absolutely. So if we try to recollect some of the visuals from Jalgaon or any person from that phase of your life.
Well, I mean, I was also very much active as a child. I mean, I loved to play the cricket that time. Every day before you go to school, we all kids. I mean, probably you are also doing the same thing. School starts at 11 o'clock, so 9 to 10 we used to play cricket every day. And then we have a lunch and then go to school. And I enjoyed that. And I'm always a very competitive person in the sports. and I always my always attitude is at that age also that I should be number one. Nobody should be number one.
Absolutely.
So I always give all my effort to become that, and so anyway, so that's the one thing. And then of course when we were in Mumbai, I was must be 9-10 years of age, and we used to live in close to Parel, which is close to Lal Bagh, and the Lal Bagh Ganeshji Ganapati is the most powerful Ganapati. Even that time, I'm talking about 50 years ago, not 50, more than that, 60 years ago. So in that time I used to be part of that, in that time that Lal Bagh Ganpati was not that big. This was 62 years ago I'm talking about, in 50s. And I used to be part of that whole function to be part of the making the Ganpati, doing some small thing and contributing myself to something with all other Marathi. So people were thinking that I'm one of the Marathi boy.
Absolutely.
And doing this thing. So it was great.
So you mentioned that you wanted to be number one. Do you see that spirit is something that one is born with, or there are some people who somewhere helps you perceive that you should be number one?
No, I think in my personal opinion, you have to be born with that zeal. You have to have that zeal. You have to have that ambition that you want to be number one. And not number one, not literally number one, but
try to excel.
Try to excel in every field, or whatever you take it, you should make it best out of it, and that's what people usually. People learn during their lifetime, but only person who does consistently and persistently is that person who has that zeal. And that's why a lot of people were saying, still they are saying that whatever I touch, usually I turn into the gold. So it means I always have that luck that doesn't matter how failing business is, if I touch or if I get involved, it becomes successful. And the perception of that business becomes more credible.
So you bring a sense of light with you, and I would say that is the light of optimism, and that optimism is it touches everyone around you somehow. Then the perception also changes, is one way of interpreting it. But staying with Sudhir Parikh, well, he is in his teens, and he moved from Jalgaon to Mumbai, and Mumbai city offers lot of opportunities and yet challenges. Probably, I don't know how was the situation in 50s, but now when you go from a small town to Mumbai, it is overwhelming.
It's challenging, but that time we were in our childhood, so we never realized other challenges, but we kind of enjoyed ourselves, and without any. At that time, there was big commotion was going on in Mumbai between Gujarati-speaking people and Marathi-speaking people.
Oh,
because, yes, and it's a big. It was really literally very violent protest was going on, because Marathi people wanted Maharashtra separate and Gujarati people wanted Gujarat separate, and we all were at that age, middle school age. We all were getting involved in that. But of course, my main focus was education. I always, even though of course we all who are coming from the middle class background, we all have small accommodation back home with the 5, 6, 7 family members. So I studied during my middle school, high school, by sitting in even college. Sitting in the during daytime during the park, and nighttime during putting the chair in the my shower and study I studied myself, and I think I did a great job. And always I liked by not only in the high school or not in the college, but even in the medical school or residency time, I was very much liked by superiors or bosses, because I was very very sharp, very. I mean, they used to tell me we used to have one textbook called Gray's Anatomy written by Mr. Gray, and I used to memorize page to page of that 400-page book.
Wow!
I can tell which sentence is what page, and of course I was gold medalist in medical school, and then of course I did my pediatric residency in Ahmedabad, and from there one consultant from WHO was very pleased with my work and research, so he took me or offered me a position in England. And that's how, even though I had ECFMG pass, I did not come to America because my ideas were different. My ideas were go to the England, take the degree what our professors and teacher had, FRCS and MRCP, come back to India and serve the people.
Wonderful.
And that's why I didn't come to America. When all my classmates came here, they all came in early 70s. I came few years later. So because my whole vision for the serving the people was different, and I happened to be in one of the best medical school or hospital called St. Bartholomew Hospital in London, which was founded by Henry II in 11th century. And that time, in that hospital, in order to get junior most position as a resident, first year resident, you have to have a primary MRCP. It means you have to have a certain exam pass in England. And during that time, this was in 72, out of 600 doctors in that hospital, I was only Asian doctor. Forget about Indian, Asian. There were no Chinese doctor, there was no Korean doctor. And when I went for interview, they told me on my face, 14 consultants were taking the interview for junior most position. And I was told that, Dr. Parikh, you are here before your time. and so still I got that job, because the consultant who brought me from Ahmedabad to London, he was one of the 14th persons sitting there.
Wow.
So
I think that line is very important, that you have come here before time, and we have come to the conclusion of this show before time. There is so much that one would like to hear from Dr. Parikh, and as we hear him, we realize that he loves speed. But in the next episode, I'll try to go back to some of the early days also again, because the formative years and the spirit with which you sustained your commitment for success is what we want to learn from you. And I am thankful to him for having accepted our request to share some of the insight coming from those days. So as we conclude part of this series today, your direct words for our viewers.
Well, dear friends, really I thank you for joining us this week with Dr. Sudhir Parikh. It was a great pleasure. See you again next week. God bless America, God bless India, and God bless you.
And now time for weekly show with a passionate India lover, Chairman of ITV Gold and Parikh Worldwide Media. Get ready for loving sharing from physician, philanthropist, publisher, and India advocate in this week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh.